my slips, my falls, my trials and tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The dark, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Samuel Leggett representing Team JVS. To my great pleasure, I was able to go and attend the Middleburg Film Festival 2019 in Virginia. This had a slew of variously amazing films that have won awards all across, from TIFF to Venice to all around. And there was one film that was probably one of the first films that I saw at MFF 2019 that I really wanted to talk to you guys about, and I'm talking about The Portrait of the Lady on Fire. This film, it was actually directed by Céline, Sciamma. I apologize for the pronunciation of the different names. Claire Mathon was a cinematographer, and the cast ranged from, I'll make sure I get all the cast and get all this out of the way. Nomi Merlant played the role of Marianne. Adele Hanel played the role of Heloise, and they are the two stars of this film. Now, this is the synopsis of the story. On an isolated island on Bethany, at the end of the 18th century, a female painter is obligated to paint a wedding portrait of a young woman. Simple premise, right? But I was looking and I was like, I see so many amazing different scores and reviews. Cinema scores, I think right now currently at a 93 rating. So I was like, what is it about this story? What is it about this film that has elevated people's response like this? And I will tell you, this is one of the best films I've seen all year. This probably is one of the best foreign films I've seen in the past 3 years, to be quite honest with you. And I'll break it down and tell you why. So, breaking up from the cinematography, what they were able to do with a lot of the shots were just mind-melting, because it opens up on the ocean. You have Marianne is going to the island and kind of going with her painting materials and try to do everything she needs to do. And the first thing that happens is she has to go overboard for some unseen reason. But the camera never leaves the atmosphere. What I mean by that is Mary Louise, again, is an artist, and they take so much careful detail to the way she paints, the way she draws, the way that the characters interact. They are very personalistic. There's an amazing moment by a campfire that there's this harmonistic like noise that's happening where people are singing, people are dancing, but the way that it's actually shot is just so, it pulls you in on so many different levels. But at the same time, there's an elegance behind it, because a big part of this film is the love story, is the essence of art and the beauty behind like painting and drawing and just the art form in general. And it goes from different ranges of that. It can go from, at a certain point, there was a moment where Heloise and Marianne, they are going at a piano, and Mary Louise starts to play this interesting tune, and like you're just immersed into that. Now, one of the biggest key points about this is the sound design. The score, there is technically no rhythmic score throughout the film. It's a very silent film, but their attention to detail, whether it's the waves, whether it is the paint bristles hitting against the canvas, whether it's like the interaction, like the human touch, whether it's like this unseemly moment where it feels very uncomfortable, and like you hear like the scratching of like a chair or like something going on in the background, or like at a campfire you hear the popping of the wood or the materials or the leaves just crackling. The sound design is perfect because it lays the atmosphere for everything that's actually happening. One other film kind of did something similar to that, which was A Lighthouse, where their atmosphere was one of the biggest catalysts for the film. But there's technically not a real big score throughout this. It's just the sound design is just perfect. Now, let's go to the platform of the actual actresses and the people that were playing it fit with this. So within this, of course, you have Adele Hansel, Nomi Merlant, who are the main two leads. But you also have, I apologize for, I'm not even going to try to name her last name, but Luna plays the role of Sophie, and Valeria Garlino plays the role of La Comtesse, who is Heloise's mother. And really, that's it. There is no other cast. There's really not any male characters that are primary leads or secondary leads. The only time you actually see male figures in this film are they're going and carrying luggage, or they're the background, or people are talking about what their connection is with this. Now, again, this is it's a French film, English subtitles, but there was never a moment that I missed a step. There was never a moment I felt like I had to pause because the dialogue was going too fast. It's very paced, very well. Matter of fact, I would say it's paced perfectly, because the tension builds with the relationships that are had. Because when when Marianne gets there, like, she's kind of like put in this situation where, like, okay, nobody's helping me to get here. I need to get where I need to go. But she's very independent. She's very, passionate. And the actress that plays the role of Marianne is so perfect, because she comes across very crass and yet passionate, and very artsy but yet standoffish. But then she, like, consistently kind of drinks wine, consistently, smokes her pipe. And so, she's kind of like trying to think, trying to process, trying to get into her own headspace, but keeping people to a distance. Where the other side of that, the parallel to that, is Heloise, who really just doesn't want her face to be painted. I'm not going to say the reasons why, but she doesn't want to be painted. She kind of like wants to be on her own, and she's had tragedy that's befall her life that's platformed her to the way and the direction she goes now. Then they are connected together, and these actresses are so amazing, because the thing about it is, yes, they can act in their scenes, in the moments just by themselves, they can act very well. But when they are together, like, it is some of the most amazing imagery of art and compassion and empathy and stress and worry and concern and empathy that are stretched through all different levels in the short amount of time, the gap of this film. And I was like, there's so many different raw emotions that are so efficiently done that I was captivated. I'm going to be very honest with you. I was very much so captivated. And then they interact with the younger person, who's Sophie, who kind of is like, taking care of the place and kind of, not undertaker, but she has her own story. She has her own atmosphere that's going on. But there's never a moment where you feel like, oh, this is so dreary and so dry. And that's one of the things about Favorite, that towards the third half of the film, I was kind of like, man, this is depressing. Man, this is rough. There are moments of levity, not just comedy, but just like natural progression of characters. Like, they come into their own, come into who they're meant to be, who they are to each other. And it's all different ranges of emotions that are effortlessly done and displayed through the screenplay. Because the screenplay, I think, plays the most part of it. I'm not sure how much of this was improv, but it felt like the script was just tight. And I mean, I have to give credit where credit's due when it comes to the directing for this one, because the movie knew exactly what it needed to be. It didn't try to reach. It didn't try to go super natural. It didn't try to go too artsy. It was the perfect blend of every one of those different dimensions of genre. And again, Céline, Sciamma, I give her all the credit, because this right here, to me, should be and would be, in my personal opinion, up for Best Picture nomination. Not just Best Foreign Film. I've not seen Parasite. I've heard great accolades about that. I've also not seen, what was the other film? Was it Farewell? I haven't seen that. But this film right here, to me, could be a contender for Best Picture. And for me, I give this nothing less than a 10 out of 10. I know I didn't go too much into the story. I think that the mood and the movie in and of itself, it immerses you enough that you are going to make the story in and of what you feel it's going to be and what you feel behind it. And by the end of it, I was in tears. I was laughing. I was taken aback with every single moment. And I think that the cast were amazing. The sound design was excellent. The cinematography was immaculately beautiful. And the essence behind art form mixed with camaraderie, friendship, and love is just spread throughout this entire film, and it just glistens perfectly. It is the perfect painting. I think that's the best way of kind of complimenting this film. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Make sure you go and check out Portrait of a Lady on Fire as soon as you can. As soon as you can get to the theater, go and see it. And when it comes to release, I'm going to be buying this one. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't going to stop. You guys have a blessed one. Take care, guys. Peace.